Just wake me up, just wake me up, don't let me down. Just give me coffee. Just wake me up, 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 don't let me down. Give me coffee. Just wake me up, just wake me up, just wake me up, just let me be blunt. My speech in the morning, nothing but grunts. With no coffee, that's as dangerous. On a scale from 1 to 10, I rank it that girl from Stranger Things. And if you get what I'm saying, my attitude be mad flagrant like I'm Draymond. But you ain't get the picture, BFP. So I'm gonna keep pushing on you, GNC. It's like alarm. Yeah, the first thing on my mind is when that hot coffee gonna seep into the coffee grind. It's like some magic's floating all in the air. Toss some ice cubes in my cup, it's a good day. All I gotta say is that it's starting in a good way. It's time for working and I don't even care. Just wake me up, just wake me up, don't let me down. Just give me coffee. Just wake me up, 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 don't let me down. Give me coffee. Just wake me up, just wake me up, just wake me up, just wake me up. We start fresh, that's how it's gotta be. Everything starts back with your coffee beans. If it's cold brew, then it's gotta be coarse. Don't get the cart ahead of the horse, start learning the course. But of course you can disregard, and don't at me if it gets too hard. When it's my time to drink, man, it's always on hand. Drink from a cup or a bottle, even a can. You never know when you're craving a hit. It could be in the bathroom while you're taking a with farewell city, ain't got nothing on it. When that coffee hits my lips, it's a seance. Feeling real super with the cape on. Anything I'll take on. This cup of coffee, yeah boy, this is the shit. Just wake me up, just wake me up, don't let me down. Just give me coffee. Just wake me up, 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 don't let me down. Give me coffee. Just wake me up, just wake me up, just wake me up, Third verse, so I guess that's where I talk about how we might be addicted in a roundabout kind of way, or how you say, a dependency that's in my life, and I'm proud to say it's filling me. Way more energy than I'll ever need, keeping me up for things I thought I'd never see. Time's gonna kill us all one day, whether old age, illness, or from listening to Coldplay. F that noise, bubble up, love. Drink all the coffee, chug a lug, lug. The day doesn't start till you're on your second cup. If they talk before then, homies better duck. It's 100% okay to start.
Good morning, all of you beautiful nerds from around the world, and welcome to the morning stream here on the Den of Nerds Live. The very best way to start your nerdy day. On today's show, baby, we got some Batman news to talk about. Quite possibly the most interesting, crazy, wild, unbelievable Batman news that I've heard in quite some time. Michael Keaton coming back to the Batman role. Now, if that was the only headline, it would already be one of the most crazy things we had heard of in 2020. What is going on with the simulation this year? It's pretty wild, but that's not even close to why this story is as crazy as it is. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about the day I had yesterday, making that video, watching the information come in, what it means for the future of the DCEU. Of course, we're all thinking the same thing. Batman Beyond, Terry McGinnis. I think it's going to happen. We're going to get into that. Plenty of time to get into Q&A as well. So it should be a very good stream. But let's say what's up. Let's say good morning to all of the people. Beautiful people. Marvel Maniacs in the building. Gray's here. Stormbreaker Bill M. Daniel's here. Alex Carfeld here. Coachella Coastal Dave. Marvel, Yinzer Jim, Juptown, Steve Denton, James Heaton, The Spider-Man Show, Ryan is in the building, Brian O'Connor, John Harris, Trev's here, Fareeman Cooper, Keith Knight, oh my goodness, so many beautiful people, Wayne White, Harvey Miles, Fanjecture's here, Keith is here, a lot of beautiful people in the building. So, I want to know right off the bat, man, before we get into any of my thoughts about this. What do you guys think? Where are you at with the Michael Keaton Batman? Do you think this is an incredible idea? Do you think this is not a good idea? What are your thoughts? I think I really need to know what the chat thinks before I give my thoughts, because I certainly have a thought or two about it. First thing I thought was Pattinson movie will feel like X-Men Dark Phoenix. Ooh. Jacob's Quest is here too. Don't worry, I haven't forsaken you. It's DC, all bets are off. I'm all for it. I love it. Kind of confusing. Interesting to see what they do. This is dumb, says Danny Orange. WTF is DC thinking? Harvey Miles says, Batman Beyond equal license to print money. I'd agree with that. If handled correctly, I think this is a good idea. I think it's great, but I don't know how to feel about a near 70-year-old Batman suit. Yeah, man. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff in the chat. The Flash movie suddenly matters, says Jacob's Quest. Yeah, I think that's the whole idea. Really. I think that's the whole idea, man. We're gonna get into all this. Ah, man, I need someone to tell me how to feel. Whew, don't worry, buckle in. I'm going to tell you all how you should feel. Now, before we get into any of this crazy stuff, hey, chat, pause the music, would you? Last night, awesome community stream. Great community stream. You're going to want to go check it out on the replay. We talked all about Deborah Chow. Deborah Chow. Should she stay over at Star Wars, or should she go over to the MCU and help them out with the Captain Marvel situation and the Avengers? I highly recommend everybody goes and checks that out on the replay community streams. Lots of fun. Also, tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the first elimination round of the Nerd Card Showdown. And I was handed a bunch of letters, text, emails. I've been wrong. It's Fantastic Four is not Dave's team. They are the ultimate nullifier. So it is the Fantastic Four versus the Slipper Clan tomorrow on the Nerd Card Showdown. 2 teams enter. 1 team is done in the competition. It's going to be really cool, so you're definitely going to want to check that out. Also, just because I's gots to do the plug-in, we are changing things up here at the channel. We are actually going away with the Patreon. The Patreon that we have is going away in its current form. So the very last Patreon chat for the Den of Nerds as a community will be this Saturday at noon. It'll be the last Patreon exclusive chat that we have. And instead, we are going to focus on channel memberships on this channel. And you guys know we do a ton of streaming over here, and that's only going to continue. We have a lot of other programming that we're going to be implementing on this channel. The streams are never going to end over here on the Den of Nerds Live. And so, if you like the content over here, or even if you like the content over on the regular Den of Nerds, you're going to want to do the channel membership when we get it going. A lot of members-only streams, maybe members-only chat, a lot of cool things. We're going to really give the members a lot of value, and so that's going to be the way that we're going to be moving forward. So I have to mention that. I would look and just keep an eye out. And if you're a Patreon member, on Saturday, we're all going to switch over. We're all going to stream on Patreon and be like, screw you, Patreon, and then we're going to leave. It's going to be pretty awesome. I'm actually pretty excited about it, okay? So, let me tell you guys a little bit about my day yesterday, man. Let me tell you guys. Oh, boy. So, I'm literally recording a video about the Jeffrey Dean Morgan scoop. Okay, so this Jeffrey Dean Morgan thing had happened over the weekend. I have so much, honestly. And Trinity, if you're in here, Trinity, you gotta let me know. And you probably let me know last night, but I just missed it. Are you streaming today? Because we might go for an hour and a half. We might go for 2 hours today. I'm not sure. We might go for a while today in this stream, okay? I need that members-only jacket. That would be dope. That'd be really dope. Okay, so I'm doing the video about the Jeffrey Dean Morgan scoop that was reported on FullCircleCinema.com. Okay, now that scoop was given to them by Daniel Ricksman. And I gotta be honest here, like one of the big things that I am confused about, and this might be a little controversial, this might ruffle a few feathers. What is Daniel Richtman doing exactly? Is he selling scoops? Like, does he have an arrangement with different news outlets? Because I've seen his scoops pop up all over the place, okay? I've seen his scoops pop up on Star Wars websites. I've seen his scoops pop up on movie websites that aren't necessarily dedicated to any one fandom. I've seen his scoops pop up on DC stuff, Marvel stuff, all over the place. So what's going on? Does he have an arrangement with different sites where he is paid to provide them with insider information that then they can make the content about? Because, and this is why I asked this, the scoop from Full Circle Cinema about Jeffrey Dean Morgan was only about 2 days old, I believe. It was 2 days old, and then as soon as the Wrap puts their report out there, then all of a sudden Daniel Richtman posts on Twitter that he knows the whole thing now. You know what I mean? So, like, as soon as he saw that the Wrap scooped it, and then Jeremy Conrad chimed in and gave it some validity. And by the way, kudos to Umberto for that scoop. This is a huge scoop. It's a huge scoop for them. As soon as it gets out there, Richtman on his own personal Twitter comes out and says, okay, so here's what's going on. So you're not telling the websites what's going on. You're piecemealing out information. Is that what's going on there? Or is it different? Like, did you not know, or by the time you gave that information at Full Circle Cinema, then did things change? You know what I mean? Like, I'm confused in the timing here. My original thought was there's no way that Daniel Richtman is going to come out and verify a scoop that essentially debunks one of his scoops. You know what I mean? So that's one of my first thoughts. I was like, what the hell? That doesn't make any sense, okay? So then I'm working on the video, and I'm going into the stuff about the Jeffrey Dean Morgan thing because I think it's really interesting. I think it really solidifies that Flashpoint is going to be the film that we get. And the implications for that for the DC films moving forward is pretty crazy. If I don't see more likes on this video, I'm going to date all your mothers and show them a great time, says Jacob's Quest. That's weird. But yeah, if you could drop a like on the video, it would really help. So, I'm doing this thing, and then all of a sudden it comes out that Keaton is going to be Batman in the Flash movie. And I was like really confused about this, okay? So like as that's happening, I was like, okay, in my head I'm like, I can re-record, and I can re-record the intro, and then I can re-record a little, like a part here, a part here, a part here, and then splice the two videos together. Because I'm telling you, I had just got done recording a very good, like, well thought out, well scripted video all about Jeffrey Dean Morgan and the Flash. And so I was like, okay, then I can start doing this. Information starts like coming out super quickly about this. So at first my thought was, oh, Michael Keaton will be the Batman that replaces Ben Affleck when we leave the Flashpoint timeline and we go into our New 52 timeline. I was like, okay, that makes perfect sense. They'll still do Thomas Wayne, and it's likely that Jeffrey Dean Morgan will play a big part as Thomas Wayne in the movie, being Batman. And then when we come back, it will be Keaton. And in fact, this is the way that I sort of imagine it going. I was like, okay, so the movie starts with Batfleck, and Ezra Miller and Batfleck are in the Batcave or something like that, and then Flash decides to do his thing, okay? And then Flash goes into the Flashpoint universe. It's Jeffrey Dean Morgan, okay? Then, after we're done with that, when we come back, it's not Batfleck. So we come into the Batcave, like Flash comes back, and he's like, whoa, that was crazy. Whew, glad things are back to normal. And then it's Michael Keaton Batman. That's where my head was at, okay? So I record the video again. Then even more information comes out that no, Jeffrey Dean Morgan is actually out. He's out. And now the Flashpoint movie is going to be an alternate timeline that is sort of protected by the Michael Keaton Batman. And so that Burton stuff, like the Keaton stuff, is canon. Okay? And so what it looks like they're doing now, according to all the most recent reports, is they're taking the Flashpoint story and they're putting a DC Films spin on it so that Michael Keaton will be the Batman in the Flashpoint universe, the alternate universe that they visit, but then also will be the Batman that replaces Batfleck when they come back. Okay? So it's crazy. Now, one of the things that was said throughout with all the scoopers yesterday, and we sort of already knew this, but it really seems like that boom, we're done. We know this now, is that the Robert Pattinson Batman is a completely isolated thing. Okay? So the Robert Pattinson Batman is a completely isolated thing, which, by the way, look, and you know, we don't want to drag Adam from Fanjecture back into this argument thing, which, by the way, Adam, if you're watching and you want to come on the show, even this stream, and talk about this, I'd love to have you, man. I don't know if you're busy today or whatever, but we can do that. You know, I'm kind of thinking casual today. We're just streaming. It's more of a stream than a show today. So if you want to come on, let me know. But this was the whole problem with the Batman and with DC's attitude. When Matt Reeves approached DC, he clearly said that he wanted it to be separate from the extended universe, okay? But then he got a backlash against that, and he tried to like walk it back in this like super weak way. Now, I'm going to give all of those people back then the benefit of the doubt, because things were crazy back then, dude. Nobody knew what the hell DC was doing, okay? So I'm going to forgive that, but that is also a reason why I was hesitant to support Pattinson's Batman, is because I was like, well, where's this fit into the timeline? You know what I mean? Is this separate or is this canon? Okay? So now it's pretty damn clear, and I think this will be finalized and explained to us at DC Fandom. Pattinson's thing is completely separate, and they might do a Batverse spinning out of it. Believe it or not, that actually hypes me up a little bit more. That amps me up for Pattinson's Batman, because I'm like, okay, look, they're doing the deconstruction, you know, thing over there with Batman. I'm okay with that if I have a mythic status Batman in like the shared universe. You know what I mean? The different flavors, I'm good. I'm really actually supportive of that. That's awesome, and I can deal. I can deal with that. Now, the report from The Wrap and what a lot of other people are saying is that they want to take Keaton's Batman after Flashpoint, which, let's be real, we know very little about the Flashpoint story as far as what they will do with it in the Flash movie. But what it looks like is Keaton will be Batman when they come back, and Keaton's role in the DCEU moving forward is going to be like a Nick Fury role. Okay? And some of the things they've talked about is like the Batwoman movie, you know, the thing that they wanted to do there, or even, you know, a Terry McGinnis, like, don't worry, we're going to get there. But that Keaton's Batman will be a Nick Fury character in the DCEU moving forward. And so much like Batfleck was recruiting for the Justice League in the Justice League movie, you know, he goes out and recruits everybody, that they're going to play off of that, do it over the course of many other movies, and have him be the person that recruits people to join the Justice League. I'm thinking Shazam, you know, officially recruited. You know, Diana, Aquaman, Flash, and Cyborg likely to already be members, depending on how much changes from the canon with the Flashpoint reboot. But yeah, that's really interesting. The other side of this that's really interesting is that's similar to what they wanted to do with Henry Cavill, okay? So they wanted Henry Cavill's Superman to be sort of like a Nick Fury as well, and go around and be recruiting. And so what's the relationship going to be like with Cavill's Superman and a really old, grizzled Michael Keaton Batman? That's going to be really interesting. How are they going to do that? I don't know. But I think if we take a step back and we just realize, like, what's the most important impactful thing here, it is that they have figured out a way to make the Flash movie and the future of the DCEU a really hyped, interesting thing. Like, we can speculate and we can talk about how they're actually going to fit all this together, how clean it's actually going to be. But the bottom line is, more than ever, I think people are really excited about what DC could do with their films. And this turnaround, in 2020, like, what? Like, it could legitimately be crazier than, the real world stuff that's going on. People will look back at 2020 and be like, what was 2020 like? They'll be like, oh man, 2020 was wild. DC got its act together. And everyone will be like, whoa, so that was the year. That was the year. So this all leads, folks, inevitably to Terry McGinnis. I mean, for God's sakes, 68-year-old Batman. I saw people talking about this in the chat. Yeah. Crazy. 68-year-old Batman. Like, what? It's wild. He looks old enough to be the Bruce from Batman Beyond. So in Batman Beyond, Bruce is aged out. Can't be Batman anymore. And he recruits Terry McGinnis to be the new Batman with a new suit, with new technology. It is the Batman Beyond suit. I 1,000% believe that is what they're going to do with Michael Keaton's Batman. Now, I actually do think that Keaton, like, here's the thing. A lot of people, I think, believe that, like, there's no way Keaton could get in there and be athletic at 68 years old. I think they're, especially with technology these days, with the de-aging stuff and, put a body double into the suit or depending on what they do with the suit exactly, you're gonna have Michael Keaton Batman kicking a lot of ass. You know what I mean? Like 100%. Like he's an old grizzled Batman, but like so was Batman from Dark Knight Returns. Like Bruce in the Dark Knight Returns can he does walk around with like a cane. He's old. He's old AF, as the kids say, but he can still totally be Batman. So I think we'll still get Keaton dressed up as Batman in the suit, actually kicking some ass. But I think over the next 4 to 5 years in DC movies, I think it'll be very clear that he is not going to be out there actually fighting as much, and he might actually be legitimately more of a Nick Fury role, even in the Justice League's daily operations. Like he'll be more of an administrator role and allow the Bat family and the other members of the Justice League to go out there and do their thing. But if you think about it, depending on what they do with Flashpoint, if Bruce is if he was sort of in his prime in the 90s, that was literally 30 years ago. So they're talking about like 30 years later in the Flashpoint movie, and that's going to be really interesting. But even when they come back, that's still a Batman that's going to be 30 years down the road. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I think there's all sorts of cool stuff that you could do with that character, but I think the timing is perfect for him to maybe want to pass on the reins. And honestly, like I was talking to a buddy about this, we've got Iron Man in the nanotech suit. You know what I mean? Like just doing their thing. It's crazy technology. It's set in the current timeline. Of course it's Tony. But you think Bruce Wayne couldn't figure something similar out? I 1,000% believe Bruce Wayne could figure something similar out. So I think we're actually at a great place to do Batman Beyond. And I guess the question would be to you guys, do you think that young Terry McGinnis Batman Beyond could work with Gal Gadot Wonder Woman, with Jason Momoa Aquaman, with Ezra Miller The Flash. What do you guys think? Henry Cavill Superman, like, what do you think? Do you think that could play? Do you think that could play? Spider-Man Show says, nope. Mike Porter says, yes. No, because we skipped all the other Bat family, says June. Rebooted Justice League roster. If this is the case, you'll have Calvin Terry, Diana's sister, Wally, Miss Martian, Aqualad, a majority of African-American cast. Yeah, it's possible. I think they could do... So here's what... I'll say what I have to say about that in just a second, because I want to see what everybody says in chat. We still don't have Robin. I think this whole thing is crazy enough to work. What about Vulture now? Ooh, that's a good question. That is a very good question. What's up, Renee? Nah, Keaton is too old to not be an old, grizzled Batman beyond Bruce. Yeah. I just wish we could keep Batfleck. Yeah. The odds were always kind of stacked against keeping Batfleck. Unfortunately. Again, as long as he only has gadgets that are out of date and obsolete technology. Huh. Oh, man. Very interesting thought by Mav. Mav says, I think Keaton coming back almost guarantees Toby coming back as Spider-Man. You know what's so interesting about that? Do you guys think it's possible that some of the plans that Feige has for connecting the MCU to other Marvel comic book properties from the past, do you think those plans may have spilled out in certain Hollywood circles? If they're real, like let's operate under the idea that those ideas are true, okay? So do you think it's possible that those ideas sort of spilled out in Hollywood and Warner Brothers started thinking about that and they were like, wow, that's a great idea? What do you think? You think that's possible? RG2088 says, what does this mean? All the events from Batman Forever and Batman and Robin happen to Keaton's Batman or just in Batman? No, I think they would be different Batman in different universes. I think replacing Batman with Batgirl would be atrocious. I loved Batfleck personally, but Batman Beyond and Batgirl together could be cool. Not right. Cool point. Let's see here. Godfather says, Keaton would constantly say, I am Batman on the Homecoming set to throw off Tom Holland. Is that true? There's no way that's true. Get out of here. Get out of here. I feel like every studio knows what other studio is going to do, just about execution. I think they definitely know a lot of that stuff, yeah. Freeman Cooper says yes. Absolutely possible, says Adam. I think anyone could have thought of it. Yeah. I must be the only person that doesn't want to see... Wait, what? Are you talking about Toby there? Chat got ahead of me a little bit. I must be the only person that doesn't want to see Toby come back as Spider-Man. Oh, boyo. Dan says, I think the DC and Marvel copycat game has transitioned from comics to film for sure. Yeah. Yeah. So I've got a video coming out later today about Deadpool. Okay? And it's really interesting. There's some stuff coming out about the pitch that Ryan Reynolds made to Feige about Deadpool. It's really interesting. It could explain some of the meetings that Feige has had. Very cool stuff. So look for that. But yeah, I think, and I saw a lot of people sort of talking about this too. It's like, well, is the plan to tie in these other comic book things? Like, there's a lot of rumors about Multiverse of Madness. Okay. And Multiverse of Madness was actually first rumored to be a film in which we could see other comic book universes, like the Fox X-Men. the Fox Fantastic Four, Wesley Snipes' Blade, etc., etc. That kind of stuff. That's where that idea was first introduced. But they're the same concept. It's the multiverse. The multiverse makes this possible. Okay? As I said, you know, the whole Ezra Miller Flash, Grant Gustin Flash, that scene, man, and the fact that the studio did that, oh, pardon me, folks, sorry about that. Yeah, it's really interesting. Crazy possibilities. Thanks, Dan. Thank you. Gustin, don't break your neck again? Yeah, I know, right? Good call out. Guys, let's get into Q&A, man. Let's get into Q&A. I want to just chat about this. You know, I think we need to just do some communication about this together. So feel free to drop your questions in. If you have a super chat, obviously supports the channel. We love super chats, and I'll take time really diving into any super chats. You guys can sort of guide the conversation that way. But if you don't have any loot, don't worry about it. Just drop a question in the chat. We will get into as many questions as we possibly can with regards to the Michael Keaton Batman. The multiverse is how we'll see RDJ again. Yeah, it's possible. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I really don't know. Part of me says yeah. Part of me says no way. Josh, what are real reasons why people hate on Batfleck? I never heard a reason, just a lot of random hate. I think number one, it's just because of the violence and his killing. So Batfleck is like full on with machine guns, like, you know what I mean? Like killing a bunch of people. I also think the character wasn't super well developed. You know, like he's just inserted into the Man of Steel story. You know what I mean? So they just inserted him into the Man of Steel story, and we don't get a lot of backstory on the character. So I think that those are pretty much the main reasons as to why people don't like Batfleck. You know, killing, and then you could also just argue the general quality of the writing. Like the Martha scene is so whack. The Martha scene is like, it's a stain. You know, it's a stain on everybody that was in that movie and involved in that movie. Let's see here. Dave Marvel with the super chat says Dave Marvel's Batman Beyond. Yeah, Dave's like really thinks he could be Terry McGinnis. Yeah, I don't know, bud. I really don't know. I don't know. But thanks for the support. Love it. Let's see here. DC making mad splashes lately. Marvel better drop something quick. Jacob Nixon, I agree with that. I agree with you 1,000%. But man, oh man, I can't believe some of these Marvel stands out there that don't get it, man. Like, and you know, everybody's free to have their opinion. But like, I see some of the people that I know, you know, kind of just being like, hey, chill out. You know, and it's not a big deal. Marvel doesn't have to do this, that, and the other thing. I'm guaranteeing you, once Marvel does come back with a bunch of Marvel announcements, whew, it's going to blow our minds. Like, legit blow our minds. But, like, DC has grabbed... I mean, like, think about this. We're mostly a Marvel channel, right? We're mostly a Marvel, Star Wars channel. The amount of stories that we've done about DC lately, the amount of videos, the amount of live streams, it's been crazy. And it's because they're making moves, dude. They're making moves, and Marvel's sitting back and not telling us anything. You know what I mean? So, Jacob, dude, I'm with you. Marvel better bring some heat, man. You know what I mean? Mike Porter says, in Batman v Superman, Robin was hinted at by being killed. Yeah. Will that be answered? I mean, I have no way to answer that question, but I'll say this. And this goes back to what Dan was saying. So Dan said something about like the Young Justice crew kind of coming in and being a part of the Justice League, And I think that could work. Here's the thing. When they come back from the Flash movie, and maybe I didn't do a good enough job explaining this, or maybe this point isn't out there as much because we're all just like, Michael Keaton Batman, holy shit, But here's the deal. What DC wants to do is when they come back, and when we as an audience come back from the Flashpoint timeline, we're not in the DCEU that was before. Like, we're just not. Like, the events of Batman v Superman probably didn't happen. At least didn't happen that way. Like, God, that Martha scene, gotta go. A lot of other things that happened are going to be retconned. That's the whole idea. That is literally the whole idea. And so it's like, well, is that Robin thing going to be addressed? Robin could be alive now. You know what I mean? Robin could be alive. Robin could have died under other circumstances. It's essentially a super big retcon where Warner Brothers can say, hey, all the stuff we didn't like and all the stuff that fans got confused about or whatever is now waved away. And now here's what has officially happened. And the beautiful thing really is they have the ability to fill out that information like however they want. Like comics, shows, more movies. Like, and they could potentially monetize the explanation and the filling out of the universe post Flashpoint. So, kind of crazy stuff. Let's see here. We got a super duper chat from Ryan. Thanks for the love, brother. DC has dominated the quarantine so far. Do we think it will actually benefit them once the MCU train gets going again? I think that's a great question. So, DC's problem in a lot of ways has been execution-based, okay? So, right now, and I wasn't going to mention this, but since you brought it up, Ryan, I'll go there. Remember back in the day when DC would go around to Comic-Cons and throw like 1 million logos up onto the screen and be like, yo, look at what we got going on. Look at what's coming up. The Rock is Black Adam. What, like a decade ago? We haven't seen anything. anything about it. So, DC is currently running the risk of doing the same old DC thing, okay? Right now, we're really hyped. So they've solved the first part of the equation. They have turned fan interest back around. They've gotten a lot of people excited. This Michael Keaton thing is huge. They better sign this dude. Like, I think it'll be a huge loss for them if they actually don't sign him and there's all this hype, and then he's like, nah. Like, dude, back the money truck up. Give the man what he wants, okay? But they run the risk of it just being executed really poorly, okay? So, in a sense, like what could happen here is all this hype, all this buildup, and I'm super interested in DC fandom. Like, what's DC fandom going to be like now, Like, is DC fandom going to, like, set all of our expectations up properly, explain and tease out things that are coming up? I don't know. But they run the risk of floundering when it comes to execution. And that's not the risk that Marvel has. Marvel has a different set of problems going on, okay? And so, even the sort of lackluster Phase 4 setup and the fact that, hype has died way down and now they're going to have to do Black Widow, which, really didn't have all that much hype anyways. They're in a unique situation that's very different than DC. But you're right to point out that, like, will this matter once things start picking up? Well, I'll tell you this. DC could still be absolutely obliterated by Marvel. Because I think Black Widow is going to be dope, but I think Falcon and the Winter Soldier is going to blow minds. It's going to blow some minds. You know what I mean? So with that in mind, I guess it's like, I really think that once Marvel starts picking back up again, Will DC be able to hold on to that momentum? I don't know, but they're making the right moves now. So all we can do is judge them upon what they're doing right now, and they're definitely making the right moves. You know what I mean? James, thanks so much for the support, but I got another super chat I got to get to first. But I appreciate the love from all you guys. RG2088 says, do you think they have been signaling that Keaton was coming back when they put a Alexander Knox cameo in Crisis on Infinite Earth? Okay, 100% transparency here, RG. I'm not 100% sure what exactly happened in the Infinite Crisis thing on the CW universe. Okay, so let me just put that on Front Street. Some people talked about that in the comments of the video yesterday, and I found that really interesting. I didn't know that, so I don't know how well I can answer that question, but I'll say this. The fact that that happened, and the fact that Warner Brothers was thinking of Ezra Miller Flash, Grant Gustin Flash, we got to get these Flashes together, and that was coming from the studio, yeah. I think this is something they've been planning for some time, because the Flashpoint plans had already been on the table. They had already said and established that Flashpoint was going to be their way out of this situation. I think that's been on the table for quite some time. But I think what was confusing and what needed some work and planning and negotiating and whatever was, what is the universe after Flashpoint exactly going to look like, right? We didn't know. What was the status with Henry Cavill? We didn't know. What's the status with Jared Leto's Joker? We didn't know, and we still don't on that one. But it's like, I think that's where some of the confusion comes in. So I think you're right. Like, yeah, they've been signaling this, and I know that you're talking about stuff from the Keaton movies that was teased in Final Crisis. 1,000% that was done intentionally. How much did they know then that this was the way they wanted to go? I'm not sure. But yes, it is a sign. It is a sign of things to come. James Heaton with the big old super chat. Big old super chat. Thank you, James. Appreciate it, brother. First super chat in a long while. Josh, if they're doing Multiverse, should they bring in Chris O'Donnell's Dick Grayson? Kind of joking, but not really. I liked him in that role. Hashtag guilty pleasure. I actually really liked him in that role, too. I really did. And I saw Adam was talking about Batman and Robin earlier. Man, if you can't enjoy Batman and Robin as the guilty pleasure, one-liner, meme machine that it is, you're doing it wrong. That's boomer status, bro. Batman and Robin, if for no other reason than the one-liners from Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze, is worth a rewatch, maybe a couple. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. But they could definitely do this, James. They could definitely do this. My gut tells me, and we were talking about, somebody mentioned the Batman family earlier too, but they haven't established, I think it was June, they haven't established the Batman family. That's true. But technically, if they do the Flashpoint retcon in universe, they could have. Like, in universe, a lot of the Bat family could have been established, right? So they retcon out the sort of Zack Snyder way of doing things, where you were like, oh, what's this mean? It's a teased out. We'll get to it later. Well, maybe it's officially happening. If I was Warner Bros., this is what I would do. I would do this big retcon, and then I would launch a line of comic books that took place in universe that were canon to the DCEU. That's what I would do. And I'd start telling those stories in the comics. Now, the movies could still hit the big events and things like that, but the comics could be used to fill out the canon. I don't know, because I can already feel like sort of the counter argument there is like, but what about the normies? You know what I mean? And I think it's, dude, the normies might be left behind. The normies might get left behind. And I've got another chat here from The Godfather. They are also pumping out teasers for Beetlejuice 2. Warner lured Keaton away from Marvel. Yeah. I think they did. I think they 100% did, man. I think they did that. But Keaton, it's funny. I was thinking about this. How mad is Feige about this, really? You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, who's it really going to hurt? Sony. You know what I mean? Like, who's it really going to hurt? Sony! It's really going to hurt Sony, dude. You think Feige was going to bring Vulture back into the mainstream MCU? Do we think that? No, I don't think we do. Feige was like the Drake meme, right? He's like, Like, Kevin Feige would be like, nah, fam, I'm good. Like, so, yeah, but you're right. I mean, Warner certainly did lure Keaton away from Marvel. Maybe Marvel/Sony is a better way to say it, but yeah, you're 100% right. Pretty crazy. Let's see here. I think we had another super duper chat. Yeah, coming in from Stormbreaker. Thanks for the love, man. Appreciate the support. What does this mean for Vulture and Sinister Six? Wow. I mean, you know, I just sort of talked about it, but it's kind of crazy. I mean, like, this is what what I really love about this community? I am so proud of this community. But in all seriousness, I just love how all of our nerdy brains work almost as like a Borg collective. Like, we're all thinking the same shit, you know? Because we're just super big nerds. We're well informed, you know? And I see Dave says, yes, down with Sony. Yeah, I love it. What does this mean for Vulture and Sinister Six? It means, you know what's so funny? I don't know. I think Warner Brothers, especially with AT&T, they're down to back the money truck up. And the thing about a Sinister Six movie is, you start looking at all these different actors. Okay, you start looking at Jared Leto. You look at Michael Keaton. You look at Jake Gyllenhaal. Dude, those guys are all like either B+ or A-list celebrities. So imagine the cost of signing all of them to multi-picture deals. Imagine the cost of signing them to an ensemble movie where they would all appear together. Imagine the cost. Even if they only take like 10 mil on the front end, that's $30 million. That's $30 million. It's a chunk of change. You know what I mean? It's like almost a third of like a big budget movie these days. So I don't know. I don't know what it means for the Sinister Six. I think at the end of the day, Sony better figure something else out and not rely on that per se. That's my thoughts on that. And Dave, with the super chat says, down with Sony Pictures. Appreciate the love, man. Appreciate the love. Good stuff. Fanjexter says, they ain't getting 10 mil. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're wrong. I don't know. By the way, just total side note, we've switched some things up in the studio where I can now hear everything coming through the production, so I can make sure that Chet's not like blowing out the volume or like driving you guys crazy and stuff. So I can keep an eye on the whole system, as it were. Do they have a director for the Flashpoint movie? They do. It is the guy that did It Chapter 2, I believe. Let's look it up. We got the internet at the tips of our fingers. We can look this up. And they have writers, too. Andreas Muschietti. Yeah, that's probably the exact way you pronounce that, too, by the way. Mucciati. Yeah. You know what? Can we talk about Ezra Miller just for a second? So, Ezra Miller, what do you guys think? Is he still the Flash, or are they going to find a different Flash? You guys let me know. What do you think? What do you guys think? Writes reviews. $5 super chat. Thank you for the love. If Keaton got ripped, I could see a solo movie after this where they do Dark Knight Returns flick against the mutants. That would be amazing. Dude, I think he could totally get jacked. And you know what? It's funny because like Adam was sort of, speaking to this on his stream earlier. Yo, I'm gonna tell you guys right now. I'm not even kidding you. I'm not kidding at all. Completely unironically, I believe that Keaton will be bigger and in better shape than Pattinson's Batman. I'm telling you right now, because just look, as like a guy that's getting older myself, like sometimes like it gets you motivated to think of like all these young dudes, like, oh, these young dudes think they can just show you up, and you sort of get that like prideful thing, and you want to be like, hey man, I might be an older dude, but I'm going to show this little punk, what's up. You know what I mean? So I 100% believe that Keaton will get bigger and more jacked than Pattinson's Batman. And if he does, Pattinson should be ashamed of himself. Like 100%, he should be ashamed of himself for sure. Let's see here. Dan the Man coming in hot with Super Chat says, out with the Ezra, in with the Lucas Till. That'd be cool. Yeah, I guess what I should say about this is I actually think that it is still possible that they replace Ezra. 100%. 100% think that they could. So I wonder, this would be really wild. Follow me on this. What if the movie starts with Grant Gustin Flash? Oh my God. It's like we're such on the same nerdy page. Mike Porter's super chat just comes in literally as I say it. As I say it. Mike Porter says, do you think they will involve Grant Gustin's Flash in Flashpoint? Okay, go with me on this. The movie literally stars Grant Gustin Flash. Okay? And in the beginning, the Grant Gustin Flash leaves his known CW universe. Right? He goes back to do Flashpoint and save his mom. Now, the only problem here is Gustin has already done this like 2 times, I think, in the show. They've done Flashpoint like 2 or 3 times in the Flash show, so maybe this won't work. But that guy goes back and does the Flashpoint. And then he ends up being with Michael Keaton's Batman. And then when he comes back, expecting to arrive back in the cozy CW brand safe version, it's not. It's Gal Gadot Wonder Woman. It's Jason Momoa's Aquaman. You know? Holy hell. That would be amazing. That would be, and honestly, they could totally do this, man. They could totally do this. Because I think, believe it or not, there's not a lot of support for Ezra Miller as Flash. I think there's more support for Grant Gustin as Flash, and I also think there's more support for the Flash in general. Yeah. So, what if they did both? What if Grant Gustin and Ezra Miller Flash together go to the Tim Burton thing? You know what I mean? Like, whoa, dude, like, what? The possibilities are endless. The possibilities are endless. Trinity says, what's up, all? Sorry I'm late. Just got back from a ride. Was nearly effing killed. I saw you say something about that on an Adams stream, man. I hope you're okay. Fanjexter says, are you stoned? Not currently. Not currently, sir, no. I loathe Ezra as Flash. Whoa. It's pretty tough. Pretty tough words. They already had a powwow on Crisis. Yep, they did. Won't that mean they'll have to cancel the Flash TV show? I don't think so. I don't think so. What does the CW stand for? Pfft, bro, I got no idea. Corny? I don't know. Corny wishy-washiness? Who knows? I mean, I like the CW shows, but they've fallen way off. They were also creatively handicapped. You know what I mean? So, that's a little rough. Chris Hawkins just subscribed. Thank you. Oh, and by the way, guys, if you're not subscribed, it would actually really help us out. Like, we're trying to break 10K by the end of the year. So, if you're not subscribed, slap a little subscribe on the channel. Corny and whack. Nice. Nice, OP slash. Well done. Well done. Well done. Anything else you guys want to talk about, man? We could just keep going. Anything you guys want to talk about, we can get into it. I did find the Mixer news pretty crazy yesterday, and I know that maybe there's not a lot of crossover with our audience. Maybe not a lot of our audience cares about that, but I think it's pretty crazy. Trinity, are you streaming or what? Are you streaming? Little sidetrack, opinions on the Alpha Flight rumors. I love them. Love the Alpha Flight rumors. F all the hate, Cam Trolls says. Ezra better still be Flash. All right, let's settle this once and for all. Let's settle this once and for all in the chat. And I know we don't got the fancy pants, and I'll talk more about Alpha Flight Stormbreaker because I appreciate the super chat. But let's just finish this once and for all. Yes or no, should Ezra Miller stay as the Flash in the DCEU? Yes or no? Yes or no? C or no? Let me know. Uh-oh. Couple of no's right off the bat, but then a yes, a no, a yes, a no, 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 a no, a yeah, a no, a maybe, a yes, a no. Guys, the evidence is pretty clear. Yes or no, says Godfather. Get out of here! You're not helping out. Dave says, I don't care. Yeah, we know Marvel Dave. We know Dave Marvel. Marvel Dave Marvel. Dave Marvel Dave. We know what you think. No, Grant takeover. Scissors. Yes and no. Okay. Okay. A lot of no's. No, no, no. Yes, unless they give it to Grant Gustin. Okay. Yes, and his version of Flash is horribly killed. I thought about that too. I think that'd be pretty sweet. Guys, I think it's pretty clear that the majority of folks in this chat say no. The majority of folks in this chat say no, and then I think that the next biggest group of people is people that don't care, and then there's the yeses. I think the yes is a super small percentage of people. And if you're doing a soft reboot, don't you want to set up the new? Don't you want to set it up properly? Have the best stuff? Let the stuff that doesn't work fall to the wayside? Let the best stuff come through? Isn't that what you would want? I think the way... Dude, they have the ability to destroy Ezra Miller Flash and head somewhere else. So I say they take the opportunity right now. No Ezra. He's a weirdo. Yes, Grant Gustin. Yeah. Counting bot. 135 no's, 3 yeses. Interesting. Josh, do you think DCEU would have been better off had they killed... What? Would have been... say what? Would have been better off they did Man of Steel, then Batfleck 1, then Wonder Woman, then Aquaman, then Batfleck 2, all the stories. Yes, undoubtedly that would have been a better way to do it. I think that they could have done it the way they did and executed it much better and perhaps made more fans okay with the idea. But yeah, had they taken their time and established these characters in their solo properties, it would have helped out a lot. A lot. How about her starts the movie but is killed by an old lady that choke slams him? Oh, that would be so funny, dude. That would be so funny. That would be really funny. That'd be really funny, yeah. Josh, could you see DC bringing in Kilmer, Clooney, and Bale for some huge fan service in Flashpoint, or would that be too expensive? It'd probably be too expensive, but it would be dope. But it could be dope. Could be really dope. Thinking people might change their tune if he gets a better cut in Justice League. That's very fair. That's a fair point. Mm-hmm. That is fair. Kilmer doesn't deserve to be in a Batman movie? Why do you say that? Dude, Charlie Hunnam as Green Arrow? Spectacular, man. They rushed the get. With the CW at their disposal, they could have been where Marvel's at right now. Dude, you're not wrong. Marvel Maniac, you are not wrong. The movie titled The Batman. Yeah, that could be really cool. Why? Did you not see him in Clooney? No, I saw it. Can we get a Green Lantern John Stewart movie? Definitely possible. I think they have some plans for Green Lantern. Jeff Johns is apparently still working on something with Green Lantern. So we'll see. You know what's really ironic about Flashpoint in general is the story from the comics was created by Jeff Johns. And now an adaptation of that story will be used to save the DCEU from what was majoritarily Jeff Johns' fault. Wow. Oh, your super chat. Yeah, sorry, Stormbreaker. What do I think of the Alpha Flight stuff? And we'll probably end it here. I mean, so Trinity is streaming, right? That's what he said, so we'll get his stream in the chat. We'll link it up so everybody can check it out. But yeah, the thing about Alpha Flight, yeah, I'm so there for it. I love the Alpha Flight characters. I love the idea of using the mutants in Alpha Flight. Would really like to, have Sasquatch be a real character in Alpha Flight. I think that would be really, really cool. Alpha Flight's fun, man. It's a really fun property. So, and Marvel has the ability, especially with Disney Plus now, to do so much, dude. Like the amount of Marvel content that's going to be coming out. Like I know right now we're a slow period, but I wouldn't worry about it too much. Like we're good. Like things are coming before you know it. They're coming sooner rather than later. You still haven't got your coffee made yet? All right, well we'll keep going for a while then. Yeah, Puck, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, super ironic. Super ironic. Josh, we should do a Star Wars talk. Lots of rumors swirling around again. Yeah, we should. I'm sitting down. Well, I'm gonna talk to some sources this week, actually. So I have some meetings with some sources and some other scoopers. So I'll be talking to some people about that, about a lot of this stuff. So yeah, a Star Wars talk is really overdue, I feel. And depending on how things go, I'd love to have a Star Wars live stream on Star Wars Sunday. And this is something we want to get better at. The truth, there's just a lot. I'm just working on a lot right now. But like once we get some of these things in place, I'll just be able to stream a lot more. Or like even other people be able to stream. Like if I can't stream, maybe like Al Schuler can pop a stream on Star Wars Sunday and go over a lot of the stuff with you guys. So yeah, totally do that. Dan the Man with the super chat. You are officially banned from doing any more super chats today, Dan. You have given us too much today. Love you, man. but I'm cutting you off. No mas, but love you and appreciate the support. Have you heard the tragedy of the DCEU? It's not a story they would tell you. Jeff Johns could save others from failure, but not himself. Wow, Dan. That's such a good super chat. I almost want to take back what I said. But yeah. Damn, that was cool. I'm going to read it again. I'm going to try to do my best Palpatine impression here. Have you ever heard the tragedy of the DCEU? Then Anakin goes, no. I thought not. It's not a story DC shows would tell you. Jeff Johns was so powerful. He had such a knowledge of the DC canon that he could actually prevent DC characters from dying in the public eye. He taught many other writers and producers everything he knew. And the only thing he feared was losing that power, which of course he did. Ironically, his own story was used to kill him in his sleep. He could save others from failure, but not himself. I don't know, how was that? Josh, I emailed you about the Facebook page. I saw that email come in. I appreciate that, man. And now I'm really glad that I know that it's you, Marvel Maniac. So I will be able to get back to you, hopefully today on that. About to say I thought I was in trouble for a sec. Nah, bro, you're good. You are good. Josh, think we could do something like you did with Fanjecture and do like a Discord stream. I want to get on and let you tell me how stupid my ideas are. We could do something like that. Yeah. Well, the community streams really are meant as a thing where all the community gets together. But look, I'm open to adjusting how we do the community streams because we want to be able to get all the different topics in. We want to talk about everything. So maybe what we'll do is we'll set up something either via Discord or social media where the subscribers and the viewers can pick the topics they want to go over in the community stream. And then maybe then we can have everybody come to the community stream and we'll go over several different things. You know what I mean? First chapter of the High Republic book came out. Yeah, and I want to read it. Actually, I really want to read it, and I want to give my impression on it. Please know, rather you go for 2 hours than pop over there. Need a hostile takeover. I need Den of Nerds all morning, says John Harris. Look, I appreciate that. Hey, man, thanks. But I got plenty to do today, so hey, I'm looking forward to passing it off to Trinity whenever he's ready, and Trinity will take good care of everybody. But I will say that we're going to be doing just a ton more streaming in general, and yeah, on days that Trinity's not going, we might go longer. We might shift into some games. We might go into the theater and watch a bunch of videos together. We're just gonna be hanging out. So there's gonna be so much more streaming going on, and we might figure something out where we can have Adam and Trinity on this stream and shift from we're gonna work on some of that stuff. Where's the High Republic chapter? I think if you go to Charles Soule's Twitter, he should have it linked there. I believe it's on StarWars.com. It might be on Random House or something. I don't know. Found the first appearance of Alpha Flight in X-Men 120 at an estate sale for $4 the other day. Dude, good find. Good find. Official release is on IGN. Cool. Doing both Angel and then Archangel. Charlie Hunnam. Dude, yeah, that would be cool. I'd be into that. That would be very, very desirable. I love Keaton Batman, but it's going to be different without the original Alfred. That's true. It's going to be very different. Drum and Company with the $5 super chat. Micah, thank you, man. So Flashpoint is happening. Also, check your email. Yeah, I've actually been meaning to get back a hold of you because we got to get this website thing figured out. You know what I mean? But, like, you know, I'm just juggling a couple of things right now. But yeah, I certainly want to get the website figured out and get that streamlined. I mean, Stormbreaker wrote, like, I think it's 3,000 articles at this point that we haven't published. So we've got to get some of those 3,000 articles published. We shall do it. We shall do it. But yeah, as far as your question is, so Flashpoint is happening. Pretty much, bro. Pretty much. It's hard to imagine them not doing Flashpoint at this point. Like, it's hard to imagine a universe, like, there's just way too much smoke at this point. There's way too much smoke. First of all, even before any of this stuff, it was pretty well established that Flashpoint was what they wanted to do. I think this is why Rick Famuyiwa was not down to stay on the Flash movie, because I think it's like that, you know, Age of Ultron situation where, you know, the creator, the director, the writer, or whatever wants to do something, and then the studio's like, yeah, that's cool, but you've got to do this. That does put creatives in a really compromised situation. I think that's also why Scott Derrickson ultimately walked away from Doctor Strange 2. I think it's a similar thing. Whereas, like, someone like Sam Raimi, like, maybe he would even prefer that, you know? Like, I don't know how Sam Raimi has an established name, an established brand. He's good. So I don't know how much a person like Sam Raimi would argue with someone like Kevin Feige, especially because they're very good friends, and Feige worked on those Spider-Man movies. You know, I wonder. You know, I'd love to hear. We'll hear more about this, but I wonder if, like, Sam Raimi ever was like, "Hey, this dude's gonna go far," you know. Anyway, but yeah, so I think it's pretty well established that Flashpoint will be the film, but I think it's going to be very different than the Flashpoint from the comics. Like, right now, it looks like no Thomas Wayne, so it's going to be the Burton Batman universe instead of Thomas Wayne. That's already a huge change, but I think there'll probably be a ton of changes. I mean, a ton of changes. So, but thank you, man. I appreciate the love. Can you imagine if they still don't have a long-term plan after all this? Whew. Well, you know, here's what I'll say to that, Jacob. I don't think they necessarily even need to have as clean of a plan as the MCU and Feige has. I don't think they need that. The multiverse in and of itself, and sort of just setting the pieces up, setting expectations a little bit, and being like, here's where all this works, okay? That's good enough. That's so much better than what they currently have. Because what they currently have is, oh, the DCEU does not exist. That was just something journalists talked about. Then Jim Lee's at C2E2 being like, we're so excited about the DCEU. What they currently have is, like, the most ridiculous, absurd, horrible way of conducting their business. What do I always say? The two biggest problems that DC has. Two biggest problems. Lack of plan, lack of communication. So, if this fixes the problem of the plan, even if the plan's not super well thought out into the future, that's fine. As long as they have a place and an avenue and routes for all these different characters and stories, and they can explain it better to the normies. Explain it better to the audience. That's what DC fandom looks to be. So DC generally poised to make the greatest comeback story ever. You know what I mean? Like, what? So, it's good shit, boys and girls. Dave Marvel coming in hot with the super chat. Appreciate the love. Man, you guys are so kind today, man. You guys are so kind today, and I appreciate it. Like, and honestly, it means a lot to not just me, but to everybody else working on the channel. I know you guys know this, but we we don't get a lot of like algorithmic love. And I think that's in some ways my fault because I want to talk about all these different things and I don't just want to do MCU shit. I don't want to just do Star Wars shit. I don't want to just do DC. I mean, for God's sakes, we dropped a Dragon Ball video last week. Literally nobody watched it. It's like less than 4,000 views, right? But the value we want to bring is not so focused on the algorithm. So like our channel specifically, we need support from you guys. Like we can't move forward without support from you guys. So all the love today, all the support today, like, whoa, thank you. And, when we get the membership thing going on, I hope a lot of you sign up for that. We're committed to adding a lot of value to you guys. You know what I mean? So thank you. So Dave says, let's see what Dave says. My immediate thought, DC stole the thunder from Marvel with hiring an old fave. Now Toby coming back will look copied. That's actually totally fair. Might be bad for Sony though, and then smiley face, smiley face, smiley face. So yeah, if you didn't know, guys, Dave is an executive producer. Okay, Dave is an executive producer. He's in on the behind the scenes stuff. He's helping us, produce stuff and work on plans for the future. And one of the first things that Dave told me when I was talking to him, is just how passionately he despises Sony's plans with Spider-Man and the fact that Sony has Spider-Man at all. He despises it. He despises it. So in general, he's very excited at anything that will dig at Sony or hurt them. But he's absolutely right here. Marvel hiring this old favorite could make the Toby thing look coppy. What I was sort of implying earlier was if Feige actually has this plan and he was doing this, but he's like holding it back, he's waiting. He's like, no, it's not. We're not ready. Maybe this is why he met with Patrick Stewart. You know what I mean? Like maybe this is why he met with Wesley Snipes. Okay. So Feige could have this plan, but if DC beats him to the punch, it will look like Marvel is copying DC. That's probably not actually true, but it will look like that. And the story and the things that people perceive, way more important than what the objective truth is. You know what I mean? So Dave he's spot on, man. He's spot on with that. Dave has I don't know, actually. Dan asks, Dave has no love for Spider-Verse? Dave, I don't know how you feel about Into the Spider-Verse. How do you feel about that? What about trying ASMR? I saw this really funny video yesterday of Thanos doing ASMR. Have you guys ever seen that video? It's really funny. Adam G says, hey, I watched the DB video. Hey, man, I appreciate that. I put the same love, effort, and research into that video than I put into any video. So I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. That's why people believe in you all, says Drum and Company. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. No, I think we're honestly doing it the right way, but we're also doing it the hard way. Like, you just got to face facts. Like, if we had just, after Endgame, if we had just said, we're a Marvel channel now, we'd probably be at the level of some of these other much bigger channels, right? Or even with Star Wars, after Episode 9, if we had just said, hey, we're a Star Wars channel now, the algorithm really likes you to niche down and just stay in your lane because it's easier for them to serve that content up to potential viewers. And I get it. I get what they're doing. But, that's not what we're about. You know what I mean? That's not the company I want to build. So we're doing it the right way, but we are, without a doubt, doing it the hard way. You know what I mean? So. And I saw somebody saying, can we send cash? So you can do direct donations, I suppose, through Patreon, but with SEO you could have another avenue with your traffic. Dude, 1,000% yes. 1,000% yes. Micah, and yes, that's 100%. Definitely want to talk to you about that. Get that going on. There aren't a lot of reliable nerdy outlets with good optimization. Agreed. Dave, dropping another super chat. Dave, you're officially cut off. No more super chats from you. Love you, brother. But, nope. Too much. But love you. Josh, we can do a live stream one day, and I'll explain my Sony hate to the viewers. We can hash it all out. Dude, I'd love to do that. I think the viewers would love to do that as well. Because I actually like, you guys know, I actually like the Sony universe and what they're building out, at least potentially, right? I mean, like, look, I'm not going to sit there if the movies come out in their ass. I'm not going to be like, well, you know what? I like these ass movies over at Sony. Like, that's not what it's going to be. But, yeah. We could def talk about that, man. I think that'd be a really good stream. Guys, let me know in chat. Would you like to see that stream? Maybe a sort of debate, if you will. Oh, snap. Guys, Trinity is live, and I hope he hasn't talked too much about his near-death experience yet, because I want to hear about it. So we're going to end this stream. I'm going to drop the link into the chat, and you guys got to get over. We all got to get over and see what is going on over in Trinity Land, man. What's going on with 2nd Street Marvel? My man almost died this morning. What? WTF. We almost had to play the funeral music, right? You seen the meme, right? Actually, let me find this. I want to do this. Let's see this. This was almost what we had to do with Trinity. This was almost Wednesday would have been really awkward because I would have been like, so normally we have Trinity on the morning stream, guys, but unfortunately, due to a biking accident, we will no longer be having Trinity on the stream. And then we'd have to play this song. R.I.P. Trinity! R.I.P., bruh! That's going to do it for us today, folks. Thank you so much for checking out the morning stream here on the Den of Nerds Live. Head on over to Trinity's stream. Find out why and how he almost died, and we almost had to play this song on the stream tomorrow. Love you guys. We'll be back at it real soon. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video. Uh-oh, Chet's busting moves. Uh-oh. I should have known this would get Chet going.